I'm a 3D artist, and in this video, I'm going to redesign both the Elder Guardian and Warden bosses for Minecraft. A few of you were upset about me not including them last time, and well, it would be a shame to leave it that way in my opinion. For the first boss, I'm going to do the Elder Guardian, which is a big pufferfish thing that guards the ocean monuments you can find scattered across the ocean floor. Now the design for the Elder Guardian is alright, it's good. But just so you know, the ocean, specifically the deep ocean, is actually the worst part about this planet. I did some research beforehand, and these deep sea creatures are nothing less than nightmare fuel. I am not kidding when I say there is something called the abyssal zone, which houses fish that look like this. Scientifically, there is a phenomenon called deep sea gigantism, meaning this cute little roly-poly looks like this deep in the ocean, and they aren't even sure why. I guess you could say it's rolling down in the deep. The point is, deep sea creatures are terrifying. You've got the big crab that could be 12 feet long, you've got giant worms that could be 10 feet long, 2 distinct types of giant squids, and the list just goes on and on. How does it feel to know that you are living on the same planet as this? And the fact that we still haven't even looked at 96% of what's out there. With such horrifying source material, how would you design an ancient deep sea beast genetically perfected to keep intruders away from whatever lies inside these doors? Would it be a giant squid spoken about since ancient times, or maybe a mega shark, the likes of which no one has ever dared to speak? Or you could make it a pufferfish. I mean, to be fair, it's probably because they aren't trying to scar every single person who plays this game. But today, we're throwing all of that out of the window. I intend to make this as horrifying as possible. I decided on an anglerfish for the reference material as it's extremely recognizable and has a similar form factor to the original Elder Guardian, as opposed to some kind of snake or shark, for example. This means we'll be able to use similar geometry, which will save us a lot of time. And real quickly, guys, if you need to brush off the old geometry part of your brain, this video is partnered with Brilliant, which is a practical website where you can learn things like geometry, algorithms, cryptocurrency, except it's a very digestible and hands-on approach, meaning they build in ways for you to actively participate instead of just watching a video or something. I personally really enjoyed the machine learning and statistics courses, but there's over 60 others for you to choose from. You know when you go on those rabbit holes on YouTube where you're like, yes, 4 a.m., time to learn everything about how to grow crystals. The pretty kind, not, never mind. Well, that's kind of the same thing with Brilliant. Everything is very well put together. It's clear they prioritize learning and not just memorizing things. They even give you these daily challenges to support what you're learning. So if you have an interest in math, science, or computer science at all, this would be a fun place to expand those skills. So to get started with that, go to brilliant.org/DanielKrafft to sign up for free. And also, the first 200 people to sign up using that link will get 20% off the annual premium version. A design like this always starts with basic modeling on the body to rough out the shape before getting into the details, always referencing some source material to make sure the proportions are alright. I turned the mouth into 2 separate parts so it can open and close, and then solidified it to make it about 2 pixels thick. If this were to actually be put in the game, I'd probably go without the solidify, so these jaws would be just 1 block. But in Blender, you have the artistic freedom to do things like this if you feel like it. Studying the anglerfish a bit more, I decided to swap how the jaws work and give the lower jaw the biggest range of movement. I also punched in the sides of the jaws for that extra bit of detail. I noticed on the Elder Guardian original model that a lot of mobs have bits of detail that are 2-dimensional, like the fin on the back of the Guardian or the floof on the parrot. I went for a similar style with the fins on the Angler Guardian, and it really makes it look straight out of the game to me. I finished the other fins, and it looks really cool comparing it to the old design. But next it's time to design the teeth. I decided to go 2-dimensional on these as well. And it turns out that having normal sized teeth looks better than having a bunch of thin teeth. Hey, TikTok could learn something from this video. Anyways, doing the teeth in 2D really sells the Minecraft look, I think, and we can always swap it to 3D if necessary. Next, it's time to do the most recognizable part of the anglerfish, which is, of course, their RGB gaming fishing rod, which I added using a similar method as the body and messed with the sizes so it never overlaps. I finished up the design by adding some fins to the side, and I can confidently say it's an effective redesign so far. Next, I have to unwrap the model so I can draw the textures on it, but that's pretty boring, so here's a quick time lapse instead. For the textures on this model, I wanted it to have a dead sort of look, similar to how they look in the abyssal zone, which is in real life, needless to say. And I tried to build in some veins and things to make it look really gross. I didn't go too overboard, but yeah, I kind of did now that I think about it. I also gave a cool glow effect to the RGB gaming fishing rod. And yeah, I really like how it turned out. I think it fits the deep sea source material nicely, and I would be thoroughly disturbed if I saw this when I first played the game. Imagine you're just exploring the ocean and you see a sea lantern down below. So you swim towards it peacefully, and then it moves. Well, now the next boss I'm going to redesign is one that hasn't even come out yet. It's called the Warden, and it's scheduled to release along with part 2 of the Caves and Cliffs update. The Wardens are blind creatures with hypersensitive hearing that attack anything making noise. The alien creatures are covered in armor-like skin that is impervious to bullets and explosives. This is the Wikipedia for the Quiet Place movie. These two are so similar, it's kind of funny. So for the Warden redesign, I wanted to take the creature from A Quiet Place and turn it into a Minecraft version that has the look of the Warden and the gallop of a young horse. I'm gonna stop making more work for myself. Let's get into it. I began by modeling the form of the monster and then the limbs. The thing about the limbs is that the joints are really strange. Sometimes they bend one way, then they bend on an entirely different axis. But once I got that all sorted, the rest was pretty easy. Kind of looks like someone bowing, so I started posing the limbs to resemble the source material a bit more, and it worked swimmingly. Next, I started tackling how to make the little pieces that peel off the face, because that's, well, a little harder than the legs and everything. I decided to make it like a bunch of little doors that hinge off the face individually, and they're mirrored across the head so it's always symmetrical. Next, I remade the Warden's horns and placed them on the back of the head. Next is the part where I unwrap the model to texture it, but this time I tested the textures first to make sure I could save it correctly, because last time, yikes. First, I subdivide the model to make each pixel an individual face, then I snap the little faces to the pixels, then I make a new material for it, and then I hide the object so I know it's done, and then I do the same process for every last one of these pieces. Wish me luck. The model's looking great, and it's finally time for texturing. For this model, I really just wanted to give it a similar look to the Warden, which even though it's not out yet, we still have this reference image to draw colors and patterns from. It's got a dark base color with a few lighter spots that kind of look like stars or something. I made it so that while the flaps are closed, it looks a lot like the Warden with the grassy patch on top, but when the flaps are open, the entire head has that starry look to it. I also put the ribs and the feet on as well to really match it as close as possible. Finally, I made the horns glow just for the heck of it, and well, it's done. Imagine it's like that one game where it can hear your mic as well as the footsteps and everything. You run into one of these, everything goes silent. Well, that was fun. Those were some decent designs, but now it's your turn. If you have something you want to redesign, feel free to let me know in the comments, or better yet, go learn Blender and make it on your own. Either way, it's been real. I'm gonna go hang out over at the coolest Discord server, Daniel Craft's Blender Cult. Very welcoming. Oh.